Sometimes I'll forget. Let me just let, uh, let me get it together. Right. You have to get it together. Or else people just have no idea how this thing goes behind the scene. Take the tape off. Come on. People just think that, oh, it's magic. I'm like, no, some technicals that goes along with this thing here. All right, let's if you know why we're here, then hi. Editing on Ronaldo. Oh, okay. So you're a Ronaldo fan. Marie, please. Okay. Okay. I don't know. I just got in the chat because I be busy. I be so busy. But if you know why we're here, it's Monday. And she's here. Let me adjust. Let me bring her back. Let me get her stitchy. Let me get her a thumbs up. Let me check them stats real quick while we're here. Just go ahead and check the stats while we're here. 715,217 views. Current likes at 57,000 likes. Streamed 4 hours ago. Let's get into it.
All right, you guys, happy Monday. It's looking like war with Iran.
Oh,
ladies and
please don't bring it up. We all over the place. We're all over the place. I just said that yesterday. Oh my goodness, we just can't seem to get it together. Thank you for the thumbs up, you guys. We just can't seem to get it together. My nachos are getting cold. Why are we over there fooling with Iran?
war with Iran. I don't know how many Goya must die for the Khazarian Empire to be reinstalled, but can I just say that they really did a good job gaslighting us last year, didn't they? They just lie. It's amazing how they lie. You guys are panicins. That's what they call us, panicins. After Operation Midnight Hammer,
Caffeine.
which was Trump agreeing on a limited strike on Iran's nuclear sites. We told you the truth back then. They wanted a full-scale war. That's what Bibi wanted. That's what the Zionists around Trump wanted. And the one person who stood between America's involvement with a full-scale war in Iran was Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is at the White House, and he convinced Trump that it was a terrible idea that would crater his support and ruin his legacy.
Okay.
Bibi and his minions, they were angry about that. Charlie Kirk, 31-year-old, he's the person that's stopping us from getting what we want. It is my personal belief that that is the very reason that they colluded to have that obstacle eventually removed just months later. That's what my timeline reveals to me, that it is very likely a plan was set in motion after Charlie beat Bibi's desires at the White House. Now, I believe on the basis of evidence that Charlie's murder was likely a very sophisticated military operation.
We've been saying that for the longest, but this is a very long intro, honey. Come on. Punchline.
That was meant, and here's the funny part, this is how insane these people are. Ironically, they wanted his murder to galvanize American support behind Israel. That was their plan. That's why Bibi immediately got on the air to remind.
Well, that totally backfired. That's what they thought? No way. That's what they thought. Well, that totally backfired.
Oh, how much he loved Israel. Right? They wanted to all get out there and say that because they didn't want us to learn that Charlie had actually abandoned their cause entirely.
Right.
So Charlie was removed, and in his place, we got a Shabbat Shalomin, not so grieving widow. This is the book my Charlie wanted you to read. He just finished it. He loves the Jews. He just finished speaking about how much he loves to Shabbat and to Shalom and to say daddy's home and to throw down his phone, Barry Weiss.
Oh my goodness, she's so...
It's just incredible when you think about it all coming together. Who are you, Erica Kirk? I seek to know. Welcome back to
If you're a dad watching this and you don't have life insurance,
Intro was so doggone ridiculous. They didn't throw an ad in the middle of your intro. Oh, YouTube.
we need to have an honest conversation here real
us be
quick.
great.
I get it. You
You
think
want to be great?
Bride of Charlie.
We have nothing to hide.
You know that episode, right?
I'm going to be honest. There are some words
What?
that I want to echo out like a battle cry. Here they are.
Number one.
President Donald Trump has said, I will not allow Iran to get a nuclear weapon because he has said when crazy people have weapons of unthinkable violence, you have to deal in reality. The longer I live, the more I realize that puritanical, ideological approaches to situations like this are not helpful. On one side is the Lindsey Graham, John Bolton types, where they are actively calling for regime change. Here is Lindsey Graham, and this is just lunacy. We want to go all in and take out the regime. It's time for us to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen and start a new chapter in the Middle East. And that sounds good, doesn't it? But what have we learned when it comes to wars, and especially wars in the Middle East? What you draw up on a whiteboard rarely happens.
It's almost spooky watching him in retrospect. It just, especially for somebody who didn't know him. What am I watching? Why are you asking me? What am I watching? Oh, are you asking me what am I watching or what are you watching? I don't know. I have no idea what you're watching. I know what I'm watching, but you, I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. Ask yourself first. Don't ask me. I ain't got
What you
nothing to do with
think
that.
theoretically is going to occur, there might be unintended and unforeseen consequences, especially when you're talking about a country 2.5 times the size of Texas.
Ooh.
It has 90 million people and was an ancient and great power with well over a dozen ethnic groups. Who's going to run the country exactly, Lindsey Graham? This sounds like Hillary Rodham Clinton in Libya. So I'm pointing to the first extreme right now, the neoconservative extreme. We must go take off the head of the snake right now. And Donald Trump is doing a phenomenal job of resisting these calls for regime change. Yeah, the Ayatollah is awful. But maybe he's one of the few guys that can keep that country together and not have a 90 million person civil war.
Just imagine. I know he is rolling over in his grave or wherever he is. The irony, so astounding right now.
Lindsey Graham is so consistently out of his mind, it's hard to even comprehend. I honestly don't think the neoconservative extreme needs to be represented philosophically anymore. It's uninteresting to me. They've done a mess of Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, the entire Middle East, Ukraine. We know what the neoconservatives believe.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Charlie, if only you knew that they're trying to convince us that the legacy of Turning Point USA is actually neocons. Neocons will be opening for AmFest, people that want war, people who are cheering about regime change in Iran today are the very people that your wife is going to hand over the keys to. Trying to convince us that that wasn't your perspective, that you didn't have issues with these people philosophically and morally, right? Moral blackmail, what these people were doing to you in the end. By the way, have we heard anything from that new CEO and chairman of Turning Point USA? Any statement over the weekend underscoring what Charlie's beliefs were? She loved Charlie, which, like I said, explains why she must have invited all of his enemies to sort of hostilely take over what he built. These people are shameless. So shameless, in fact, that over the weekend, his quote-unquote best friends,
Tyler.
despite us being able to clearly hear what Charlie felt about Iran,
Go back.
about the idea of regime change in Iran, his best friends, the amazing McCoy and, of course, wargaming Blake Neff, actually got into his studio and shared this. Take a listen.
He also always did have trust with the president, and he would look for the bright side of things. And he was an American patriot, so he would pray for our success once that began. And I just want to say that to offer perspective on how I think he would have felt about this. And that's not to use Charlie as a shield. That is not to use, say, everything just revolves around him, because he's not with us anymore. But I know people, all of us are feeling the lack of Charlie in a moment like this, because he was a natural leader of the movement.
Well, I think that's also, like, as soon as all of this broke out, you saw that social media immediately went to go find Charlie's clips, because he still is, even in death, like the leading voice on a matter like this.
Well, and sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and it makes me upset, though, because for these people that didn't actually know Charlie, like you said, in private, he would be not happy with the situation, and he would express his thoughts. You would oftentimes see him talk about it on the show, but then as soon as this would happen, he would have trust in the president. He would try to calm people down, and so it's really irritating for me to see so many people on social media have the opposite reaction, to use his voice to actually cause chaos, to actually cause fear of the situation, to actually cause hatred of President Trump in this whole ordeal, when actually that's not what he would want.
They don't want you seeing this, but they can't hide it from you much longer. So first step is add clean water about 3/4 of the way up. Next, throw some salt in.
Since y'all know him so
It
well.
really is just amazing to watch it. It's just shameless, like I said. It's just shameless. They don't even care. They're going to get there. They got the ghost of Charlie. Aha, we can direct the ghost of Charlie. Why are you sharing these old clips of him as if he would have stood against the president, even though he literally stood against the president and told him not to go to war with Iran? Trust me, if he would have been here, he would have been supportive of what the president is doing, which was explicitly against what Charlie shared in his own words. Shameless. Like Erica, having been slated to record something alongside Bibi Netanyahu and Ben Shapiro. No one even believed me. I tweeted that about a month ago. They were slated to record something ahead of the Super Bowl. I don't know if it was for the Super Bowl, but it was just ahead of the Super Bowl at Mar-a-Lago. And last second, whatever they were going to record got canceled in the umpteenth hour. She was teaming up with Ben Shapiro and Bibi Netanyahu. And then maybe somebody was like, hey, this isn't a good idea. Because she loved Charlie. She loved him like Lyndon Baines Johnson loved JFK. No time to grieve. She needed to be sworn in as the new leader before his body was even cold. In case you didn't know this, LBJ was actually a crypto Jew, as they term it, a Jewish gangster. Crypto Jew, to be sure. More on that later. We'll talk more about that later. But first, let's recap what some of these characters that we've been introducing to you on Bride of Charlie. Let's recap them, because it's good to remind ourselves of all of the people that are in this very
What just happened? She's all over the place. She didn't damn sleep this weekend. I'm like, what? Okay.
story. First and foremost, we introduced you guys last week Dr. Jerry Franzfey. She's like Dr. Jerry Franzfey-Steen is what I'm going to call her. That is the first wife of Erica's father, Kent Franzfey. By the way, I then learned that they were married. I don't even know if I'm saying this right. Baha'i Temple in Chicago. That is where they were married.
Okay.
Just dropping that little tidbit for you guys. Dr. Jerry, we learned, was raised, these are her words, not mine, in a strict Mormon household. I guess then she must have become Baha'i. She was knocked up at the age of 14, married by the age of 14, a bookie turned psychologist, creator of the Tesseract model, Radford University, gave her a research center, a gender research center. And guys, I forgot to mention this to you, but Radford University, their seal and their yearbook is the Beehive. I can't make it up. I cannot make it up. Anyway,
Oh, jeez.
To Jerry, we also learned that she worked with the DuPont Chemicals, DuPont Chemicals psychologist. She also worked with the Bush family, and she conducted, which we'll get into later, gender research specifically in Eastern Europe.
What's going on over there?
Amazing. So many ties to Eastern Europe, Bosnia. We're going to get into that. Another character that we introduced you to was Uncle Jack Solomon. He is married to Erica's aunt, Carla Solomon.
Right.
He graduated from what is today UVU, or at least that's what his resume says, his bio that he's given throughout speeches and his involvement. It was formerly called the State College, so it was Utah Valley State College, CS. He helped to build the UVU campus as a board member for UVU Center for Jewish Studies, professor of political science at BYU. I should mention, Jack was also the founder of what is today known as Bally Technologies. He's relevant because we're going to be speaking a lot about the casino connection to a lot of people. And Zion's Gate in Israel is his family's dedication, not Erica's, but his family's dedication. And of course, probably the one that took us on the greatest journey is Lori Abbas Stanley. Erica's mom, Lori. Lori Abbas Stanley, Wallstad, Fransberg, Gwinta. She's even divorced from Larry Gwinta, however you say that. We'll just leave it here because we're going to build on her today. But corporations are coming out of her ear. She's got so many companies, and then they are never filing on time. They've got to be shuttered. Her first marriage, by the way, because some people messaged and asked, was to a man that sort of disappeared into the military. His name he actually passed away, James Melvin Stanley. Here's a photo of him. I am struck by how much he looks like Brigitte. I just want to say that. This is the only photo I could find of James Melvin Stanley, her first husband. She got married to him, I believe, when she was 19 years old. But I looked at this and I went, mad. This looks like Brigitte. I don't know, just like a little funny little side thing. That's her first husband. She then married John Robert Wallstad. Do not yet have a photo of him. Just know that where Lori goes, fraud follows. Lotteries, casinos, gambling. These are familial themes, which we're going to build upon today. So let's keep with Lori. On Friday, we let you guys know that Erica's mother, Lori, has always used an Erpenbeck brother on her paperwork. He's signing things for her, helping her to form these many corporations. Rick Erpenbeck is his name, whose brother Bill did over 2 decades in prison for financial fraud, trying to kill his sister, threatening to kill his sister, burying cash on a golf course, just run-of-the-mill stuff, And Rick's father, Tony, tried to arrange for the kidnapping and murder of some kids because he was upset that he was getting time in prison. And yeah, like I said, run-of-the-mill stuff for a family. Well, one of you guys emailed us and alerted us to something pretty interesting. But we were kind of imagining whether or not they still had a relationship today. We can now confirm that it's not just Lori who was close to Rick, but Erica is close to Rick as well. Now, I want to be clear. Rick Erpenbeck did not do any time in prison. He said, I was a young college student. I don't know why my dad transferred me all of this money. And I'm very close with my brother Bill. He was honest about the fact that he's close with his brother Bill throughout his testimony. This is his family, but he didn't do nothing and he don't know where this money came from. It's a story. He's sticking to it. He did not serve any time. Important to stress that. But like I said, I don't know that I would be super close with a family like that. Full stop. You should know that Erica considers Rick to be her uncle. Like, again, she could just be saying uncle, like when you get close to someone, they've been around you your whole life. That's my Uncle Rick. But that's the reality. If her Instagram is to be believed, if her Instagram account is to be believed, then you should know that she's very close to this person because on December 1st, 2018, she went down to Universal Studios. You should know that that's where Rick works. And Erica documented that trip. She's with her mom. She's always with Lori. Lori's always in the background. And here it's going to be very quick here because it's Instagram stories that she has saved. But you're going to see Uncle Rick. Take a look here.
When you pray and dream to be in show business, be specific.
I have a 134 IQ. I make less money than friends who barely
I don't
passed
think
high
we need to
school.
miss that.
Here's what I
He dropping gems. Hold on. Come on back, Uncle Rick. He said if you take your hands back.
When you pray,
Hold on, I'm on mute. Oh, goodness gracious. Listen to what he's saying. I'm assuming he's talking to Erica. And I'm assuming Erica, you know, hey, what's some good advice about trying to get into
If her Instagram account
into the showbiz in Hollywood? Uncle Rick, what's some good advice?
be believed, then you should know that she's very close to this person because on December 1st, 2018, she went down to Universal Studios. You should know that that's where Rick works. And Erica documented that trip. She's with her mom. She's always with Lori. Lori's always in the background. And here is, it's going to be very quick here because it's Instagram stories that she has saved. But you're going to see Uncle Rick. Take a look here.
What's in Butterbeer?
when you pray and dream to be in show business, be specific.
Oh, when you pray and dream of being in show business. Be specific. Interesting. With the savage mic drop. She had asked. That's why she called it a mic drop. Be specific. I don't want to be no shopping. Don't worry about it.
By the way, I should mention he's high up at Universal. It makes me wonder if that could have been a potential pathway for her to win Miss Arizona in 2012 because NBC Universal Studios they split ownership back in 2012. Trump owned half, and NBC Universal owned the other half of the pageant. Anyway, I have no proof of that. I'm just saying that that's an interesting tie that Rick is working over at Universal Studios. Now, like I said, for some people, proximity to criminals, non-starter. That's how I would say I live my life. Being close with your brother who tried to kill your sister probably wouldn't be my thing. With Lori and Erica, it's fine. By the way, I do want to also add that's one of my favorite things about like gangsters. Like I'm looking at this family, like who are the Erpenbecks? Because most people, if they have like a traffic ticket, they got to show it. They got a record. Like, oh gosh, this is gonna hurt my chances of getting a job. Erpenbeck, kind of a big deal. $34 million went missing, and he's at the top of Universal Studios. Just incredible. I don't know. I feel like if my brother was like a Zodiac killer or something, I probably wouldn't be able to go down and work for Disney or Universal Studios. Anyway, moving on. We told you last week that someone sent us the remaining documents pertaining to Lori and Kent's mysterious divorce.
Girl, stop. Oh, my goodness. That doggone Candy got friends everywhere. I found them. We got them. Let's go then.
We get a decade for when this marriage happened. Just have no idea if it happened in the early 80s or if it happened in 1990.
Well, I must say these nachos. These nachos. I'm getting down to the last little bit. You see me savoring it now at this point. You know, little ground beef, that Velveeta cheese sauce with the black beans because we gassy for sure. Now, it all has to tie in together. It all has to tie in together, right? And so you have your meat. This is just some ground beef from Walmart, but it ain't just any ground beef. It's them little mini patties, the mini burger patties. That's number one. We have the Taco Bell taco sauce, taco seasoning. You know what I meant to say. Taco Bell is the mild, the little blue one. That's the seasoning that we season with our meat. But of course, that's not the only seasoning that we use. You know how you have to season the meat first and then add the taco seasoning? Or else it'll just be bland, but it'll have that. I can't do that. I like for the meat to have like a little seasoning to it first, you know. And I only use one seasoning, so don't worry. So don't be somebody. But, and then you have the Goya black beans. But you know who is the star of the show? It's On the Border. The cafe style tortilla chips. Child, she is the star of the show. And I'm telling you, I'm wrapping it up here. I'm wrapping it up. Because I knew I was going to need a snack. Come on, Kanye.
The prevailing narrative from the debunkers is that the initial filing, which I would like to remind you, only had 4 statements of fact.
Oh, yeah.
A one-pager.
Right.
It was simply a clerical error. When they listed Erica's birthday as November 22nd rather than the 20th of November, which is the birthday that she has today. Now, to be clear, there was no cleric involved. It's a document filed by Lori, sitting down with her lawyer, reviewing it with her lawyer. And by the way, when you go into a courtroom, you have to swear the statements are true. You have to swear the statements are true. The birthday was what we showed you, also featured on 2 separation agreements authored in 1995 and authored in 1996. So separate documents. But we couldn't access the rest of them, and then I told you someone sent them to us, and we can now show you the remaining filings. We have, at first, I'm going to show you this joint shared parenting plan, which is, you can see, filled in by hand on January 8th. I'm going to go with 1998. That was my best guess. It's hard to tell since someone tried to edit it by hand again. And this is real life, so you just do what you want there.
Forgery shit. Child, they would have made us do that all over again. Child, they would have came across the clerk trying to get to the judge to get stamped and approved. Child, she would have sent that back.
Point is that Erica's...
Unless it was done afterward. But even still, it had to be filed. You see what I mean? Who did that? I guess that was just, what is that, 96? I guess that was just accepted or something, because...
is again listed as November 22nd, 1988, okay? Then came an amendment to the child support plan, which was drafted on September 10th of 1998. And it is, in my opinion, the most egregious of all the filings. I just want to show you this. There's no notary. There's no judge signing off on another page of it. It's really kind of just Lori. That I think even her attorney was like, this is a bridge too far even for me. And Lori was just like going off of vibes there. And I just wanted to, I would be remiss if I didn't show you this signature page because I find the signatures to be very similar between her and Kent. And remember, we're supposed to believe Kent waived off his rights without a notary to these documents. So Lori's kind of running the show. Then I'm going to show you this November 10th, 1998 final decree. This time, Erica's name is typed in. And once again, her birthday is listed as November 22nd, 1988. Let's move on. Let's move on to the medical child support document, which was entered in the following year, January of 1999. This particular document requires the consent of the health insurance company. In this case, it's listed as Aetna. What is entered in as her birthday is November 22nd, 1988. And I want to be clear, this is all for child support. So actually, the only date that really matters here is Erica's birthday. You want to make sure you have the right kid. We're moving on. We're in, it's 1999. They're still, everyone's confused and thinks Erica's birthday They're actually not confused. They're consistently telling us that it's November 22nd, but we're not done. Let's fast forward to 2004.
Okay.
Because maybe from 1995 to 1999, multiple people, including the parents of the child, were just making clerical errors. Maybe what's needed to straighten people out is a new decade. Y2K vibes. Let's get into the 2000s. Well, in July of 2004, Kent defaulted on his child support payments, and the enforcement agency recorded the default, plus Erica's birthday. And as you can see, once again, we have it listed here as November 22nd, 1988. Apparently, there isn't a clerk across 10 years that can type in 20 as.
I wear it for golf, to the office, I wear it everywhere. Hey guys, this is Joe Kudla, founder of Vuori, and I'm here today to talk about one of my personal favorites, the Meta Pant, and why it's a staple that every guy should have in their wardrobe. The Meta is one of the most versatile pants in the Vuori lineup.
As opposed to 22. Let's go 2007. Let's just, because I like 2007, right? Good memes. I graduated high school. They released the final installment of the Harry Potter book series, which I was reading. I mean, I just feel like nobody got anything wrong in 2007. Fantastic year, right? Except for whoever filed for Erica's child support emancipation. Now she's 18. You don't got to pay child support anymore. You got to go back and file things.
What's the date?
Once again, her birthday is listed as November 22nd, 1988.
Okay.
The point I'm making here is everything about this marriage, everything about this divorce, everything about Erica's early years is shady. And the beginning matters. The beginning matters deeply. We opened this series reading Elizabeth Lane, the investigative journalist, her thesis that she presented that Erica Kirk might be a psychopath, not a sociopath, but a psychopath. She argued that is what disturbs us when we see her speak. Something's not right. The brain is registering that words are coming out of her mouth, but the expressions are not right, the actions are not right, and our body kind of has a natural defense system that comes online. Before we can even register what it is that makes us uncomfortable, we pull back. People say, I can't watch her. I can't listen to her. I hope she does well, but I don't even want to watch this. Even those people that do support her, Elizabeth Lane noted, they can't watch her. I want to build upon that. Psychopaths are not born. They are created, okay? They are created, and typically they are created in their youth. If the work of Sigmund Freud, who rather obsessed himself with creating psychopaths, is to be believed, I would respectfully submit to you all that Erica's childhood is actually the most important piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
Because no matter what anyone is trying to tell you, Erica is not posting her mother in the way that she is without intent right now. Okay, she didn't post her mother for years, and then she suddenly moves to post her mother in a vulnerable, sick position a mere days before Charlie's assassinated. 2 to 3 days before he's assassinated. That registers to me as emotionally manipulative. I don't know many people, or really any people, who would move to curate an Instagram reel of their mother in that condition. Most of all, I don't know many people who would want or allow them to, right? So that tells us also something's not right with Lori. Something's not right with Lori. Why would you want someone curating these moments of you and putting it online as if to say, hey, don't even look here, leaking to people that she's like, without any clarity, it's not coming from Erica, but she wants you to imagine. One person said, I heard her mother has cancer. They're putting this out here without any clarity. Who is Lori? Lori's a very interesting character. I think, like I've said to you, her mother's got a lot of problems, but what somebody dug up, something that Charlie shared about Erica's mother, is shocking.
What?
Absolutely shocking. More about her ancestry. I'd like to apologize in advance to sports fans. We'll tell you when we get back from a little break. All right, you guys, thanks to you, last year, Preborn helped rescue over 80,000 babies, and today you can help save even more. Every single day, thousands of women hear the same devastating lie, that abortion is their only option, that they're alone, and that there's no hope. But everything changes the moment a mother in crisis walks into a Preborn network clinic and sees her baby on an ultrasound. That one moment doubles her chance of choosing life, because they realize this is not just an image on the screen. It is hearing her baby's precious heartbeat, maybe even for the first time. And in that moment, recognizing that there is life growing inside of her. It's not a problem that needs to be solved, but rather a life that needs to be protected. So let's be there for her in that beautiful moment with love, prayer, and support. For just $28, you can provide 1 life-saving ultrasound, and $140 provides 5 ultrasounds, which is, of course, 5 chances for life. This year, let's make it the biggest baby-saving year in history. Take a stand, be bold, speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. To donate, dial #250 and say the keyword baby, or visit preborn.com/Candace. Again, that's preborn.com/Candace. I also want to tell you guys about the Wellness Company because the chemtrail climate exposures are going full force this winter. Back-to-back abnormal winter storms with questionable snow quality crippling the country. Millions are without power, record freezing temperatures, roads are shut down, pharmacies are closed. Well, here's the uncomfortable truth. When the grid goes down, you have to be prepared. In 2021, a single winter storm left millions stranded and cost hundreds of lives. The medical emergency kit from the Wellness Company has 8 life-saving prescriptions that treat UTIs, pneumonia, strep throat, and COVID. You cannot buy this at a pharmacy. Instead, you can purchase your kit fully digitally. Take a medical questionnaire, and then a licensed doctor will review it, and they will fill the kit prescriptions. Natural disasters are becoming more frequent and intense, so do not let illness catch you off guard while stranded in a bad situation. Order your kit now by heading to twc.health/Candace and use code Candace at checkout, and you'll save up to $45 off, plus free shipping. That's twc.health/Candace with promo code Candace. Kits are available to U.S. residents only. I also want to tell you guys about Masa chips because I love them. Spring cleaning season is here, and most people forget the most important place to start is probably in your pantry. Most chips will have 40 ingredients such as seed oils, artificial flavors, and mystery chemicals. Well, Masa's chips contain just 3: organic corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. That's it. So there's no seed oils, no mystery chemicals, just real food the way that it was intended to be. These chips don't only avoid all the bad stuff, they taste incredible too. There's a reason that Sprouts Farmers Market and Wegmans picked them up nationwide. This is the real deal. Snacking on Masa chips is nothing like eating regular chips. With Masa, you feel satisfied, light, and energetic with no crash, bloat, or gross, sluggish feeling afterward. And because these chips are made with real food, they're more satiating, so you won't find yourself uncomfortably binging and still feeling hungry afterward. Personally, my favorite flavor of Masa is their habanero, but you can't go wrong with any other flavor. So if you're ready to give Masa a try, go to masachips.com.
Now remember, this is Wikipedia, right? We go from, the couple went on to have 2 children, a daughter and a son. And then Charlie was assassinated. No in between, no nothing.
/Candace and use code Candace at checkout for 25% off your order. Or you can simply click the link in the video description or scan the QR code to claim this delicious offer. That's masachips.com/Candace and use code Candace.
I had no idea popcorn could get that good.
I have something for you to eat. It's called Opo Pop.
Candace at checkout. Okay, you guys, I need you to listen very carefully. A little bit of history. I'm going to go through it quickly. You have probably heard, maybe vaguely, the conspiracy, quote unquote conspiracy, people who print the textbooks, that we're being ruled by the Khazarian mafia, right? This empire that existed 8th and 9th and 10th century and then magically disappeared. Nobody knew. It was a Turkic tribe. They were a nomadic tribe, and then they mass converted to Judaism. Okay? But they were not ethnically Jewish. They mass converted to Judaism, and they mixed in, okay? They mixed in with people who were actually Jews. And they call this a conspiracy, that the people that live in Israel right now are the Khazarian mafia. They call that a conspiracy, but if you read books that were printed in Israel by the Israelis, they themselves declared that they were Khazarian. You could look, a guy named Abraham Pollock is an example, who wrote a book, did all of the research. He was awarded for his research and said, hey, we're that tribe. We are the Turks that mass converted to Judaism. And then he was told that was inconvenient after they awarded him. After 1948, they were like, oh, no. We're claiming we're the original Jews in the Bible. So let's just get rid of all this research. Something else that you should know about this conspiracy, actually, rather, something that's definitely not a conspiracy, you just need to research things outside of Hollywood movies. You know that Italian mafia? It was actually Jewish, maybe Khazarian Jewish. Hollywood was, as we know, factually started by Jewish gangs. Universal, MGM, there's no hiding that, okay? There's no denying it. Initially, they were carnies, people that were running the carnivals. They would wow people with illusions, right? The occultists. And then they said, let's do this on a larger scale. Let's do movies. Let's get people to pour into cathedrals, put on a show. So you go to a carnival. Oh, it's so much magic and illusion. Well, I want you to understand that movies are another illusory trick. It captures your imagination. It captures your emotions. And it's almost never based in reality. For example, the prevailing narrative is that the Italian mafia, just for no reason, we don't know why, they partnered with Meyer Lansky and Bugsy Siegel, the Italian, and then the Jewish mafia got together. No, yes, the Italian mafia, they spoke Italian, but that's because they emigrated to Italy after revolutions. Reality, and you need to listen to this backwards and forward and do your own research. The reality is that in 1881, the Russian Tsar was assassinated by a Jewish revolutionary gang from what was known as the Pale of Settlement, okay? So you had a Christian empire, and then what was carved out was like if you were Jewish, you had to live in the Pale of Settlement because they required that you were Christian if you were going to live within the kingdom. The world was dominated by Christian kingdoms. And so you know that expression when you say that was beyond the pale? I don't even know why you say that. Oh, what he did was beyond the pale. You're actually referring to the Pale of Settlement, which is where the Jews had to live. Now, they were allowed to work inside of the kingdom, but you had to be a Christian to live within the kingdom. The Pale of Settlement consisted of modern-day Poland, Ukraine, and Lithuania. This is very important for you to understand this. After the assassination, many of the associated people that were involved, little gang that put together, they emigrated to Italy. They emigrated to the United States. You learn this in your textbook as there were pogroms, like no context, for no reason, kicked out of a country. There's actually no evidence they were ever kicked out, but they left. The revolutionaries left. And there were actually, all throughout this time frame, by the way, these sorts of revolutions.
Give me a second, because she is like, You know, she has a tendency to give us the content after the fact. And it throws me off because I'm like,
happening all across Europe, trying to overthrow and divide Christian kingdoms. Deeply organized revolutions. Initially, they failed. German revolution failed. Italy, Austria, failed revolutions of 1848. They were commies. Revolutionaries, you could also refer to the revolutionaries as murderous psychopaths. And then they emigrated en masse into the United States as victims. And they brought with them their revolutionary ideas. I like to say they were anarchists, obviously, but also you should think of them as gypsies in the truest sense of the word. They will learn any language, become what they have to come, move wherever they need to move, and wherever they go, they bring their filth with them. Okay, we get these migrants into the company, and then suddenly the people that assassinated the Tsar. Then we get the first bombing in America at the Haymarket Square in Chicago. That involved quote unquote German immigrants. The assassination of President McKinley, done by a Polish man named Leon Czolgosz, who was radicalized by a Jewish Russian immigrant named Emma Goldman. Her family was from the Pale of Settlement. They were not like poor living in the Pale of Settlement. They were wealthy Jews, educated Jews. There are tons of books about what they did. I could do 12 episodes on Emma Goldman, by the way. Her alone, the amount of assassinations connected to her. She was also the woman that was behind Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood. Emma's boyfriend, also from the Pale of Settlement, tried to assassinate.
It was nothing special. It was just a little get-together. It was under control. It was the clock. It was the flower.
Henry Frick of the U.S. Steel He literally shot him. You know, you've probably heard the story. They shot him, but Henry Frick survived. They're just murderous communists. I don't know what to tell you. And they did that, tried to kill Frick because they wanted to establish unions. So you learn in school, it was about workers' rights. Yeah. They organized these worker strikes and these protests, and eventually they were successful in establishing unions because that allowed them to establish racketeering, mafias. You guys know unions are associated with mafia and the mobs. This is our inheritance. Our entire history and our present is a gangster's paradise in America. Hollywood exists to glamorize the filthiest people, that work in the most debased industries. It's not entertainment. It's always been disgusting. It's always been about filth, prostitution, importing people from Vienna and trying to collapse America. Successful all across Europe, what they did. The Christian empires got divided, and here we are today, right? This is what we're facing in America. You have to understand this. So you get to this mafia, you get to the mobs, you get to, obviously, usury. You will always know them by what the filth that they bring, okay? Think about the Great Depression. What was that about? Oh, now we need, we got to establish this, the Fed. We got to establish the Fed because of the Great Depression. And the history of sports is an interesting subject. Let me start bringing that up because sports was a distraction. It is a form of entertainment. I'm not trying to ruin these things for you. There's so many incredible movies.
We had totally forgot that 15 minutes ago she had said, see what I mean? It just...
History of sports. I love Remember the Titans. It's legitimately one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Love it. But I would say that I don't have a truer sense of what or who began the sports industry. I'm just a girl. Never wound up here. But I'm telling you this because I think Lori Franzweh is rotten to her core, and I therefore found it unbelievably interesting that someone located an old interview, an Ask Me Anything segment from Charlie Kirk's show. The person emailed me and they said, Candace, quote, I listened to Charlie's podcast, the rebroadcast last night by the TPUSA crew regarding his thoughts on the past Super Bowls. Charlie was speaking about the Green Bay Packers and mentioned that Erica's mom is a direct line to the Lombardi family.
Lombardi?
I thought this might be an interesting piece to your puzzle, they concluded.
Lombardi?
Excuse me? A direct descendant to Vince Lombardi? Now, for those of you that don't follow sports because you're just a girl too, or more specifically, those of you who do not follow American sports because Americans think football's so big, but obviously it's just confined to America, Vince Lombardi might be the most famous American football coach of all time. Okay? Of all time, he is actually so famous that the Super Bowl trophy is named after him. So once the football players, whoever wins Super Bowl, they receive what's called the Lombardi Trophy. That's named after Vince Lombardi. Wow. Okay, the Green Bay Packers, and people in the comments are going to come in, but I'm pretty sure that was the first Super Bowl ever. I'm going to have to look that up. Skylar, you can look that up for me. I'm not positive. Erica Kirk? A direct descendant? No, I'd have to hear Charlie say that myself. That can't be right. Well, sure enough, we went to investigate, and Charlie did communicate that very fact. Take a listen.
The Packers won the first Super Bowl. You know, my wife, Erica, is from the Lombardi family.
Really? Is that right? Seriously?
Yeah.
That's royal blood.
Her mom's a Lombardi.
That's
Literally,
crazy.
Isn't that insane?
That's royal blood.
Like how close? Like is she
like direct bloodline?
Like lineal descent from Vince?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, we have all this Packers stuff at our house.
I didn't know that.
Whoa,
that's interesting.
Isn't that
that
great?
is wild.
And I'm from a huge Bears family, so I don't know.
Whoa.
Well.
I'm just going to let you guys digest that. Oh, Lori. Direct descendant from Vince Lombardi? I can tell you my first thought was, Charlie's not lying, because take it from me, he's not dumb enough to tell a lie that big on camera, okay? He's not going to do that. He knows they will fact check him real quick. So my only other option was, is Erica lying? Obviously, I would rank that as a strong possibility were it not for the fact that Charlie said that they had a ton of Vince Lombardi's paraphernalia around the house. A direct descendant, lineal descendant from Vince Lombardi. You're hearing this from his own mouth. Erica's mother, he is saying, is a Lombardi. I said, Charlie, not known for hyperbole. He knows words have meaning. A direct descendant, therefore, would mean that Lori is Vince Lombardi's offspring. Or that's really our only option here, given the ages. Lori's born in 1950. And I have to say, once I heard him say it, Lori and her sister, Deborah, do look like Vince.
Scribe makes step-by-step guides for any process with AI. You know what's terrifying at work?
Vince. I see it. And I thought it was interesting that I could never find a photo of her parents. Curiously enough, though, the person listed as her parent, Angela Lombardo. Well, that's actually, her name was Angela Lombardo. And curiously enough, we can confirm that her mother is a Lombardo. That's her maiden name. In other words, Erica's maternal grandmother is Angelina Lombardo Abbas. You can see that here in this obituary from 1970. The bottom there, it says that. Angeline, wife of Joseph Abbas of Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay, so what's going on here? Because that still wouldn't make her a direct, unless people have multiple identifications. I can't get there, but I know that Charlie is being pretty explicit and saying direct lineage, and I don't have photos of Erica's mom, Lori's mom and dad. I wanted to present that because there are many rabbit holes that ought to be explored in the story. I cannot chase them all down because I need to now focus and bring you guys into understanding what happened with Erica and Pageant World and how she was truly brought on at Turning Point USA. But I want to share this anyways because it feels very significant. That is not casual. And I'd like to apologize in advance to all the football fans. I know you're thinking, can we have anything? And the answer is no. We cannot have even one thing. Figure it out, guys. Figure it out, internet. Is her name really Angelina Lombardo? Is his name Joe Lombardo? I don't know. Is Lori actually Vince's kid? Did he have one out of wedlock? I don't know. But a direct descendant means a direct descendant. That's, to me, is the only possibility. Why else would you be getting the paraphernalia, which is worth a fortune? And it would also mean that Lombardo and Lombardi are interchangeable, which Charlie has just confirmed, right? He says she's a Lombardi. But actually, according to obituary, she's a Lombardo. If that's the reality, if those are interchangeable, then we can begin to honestly speculate about Lori's potential ties to the Lombardo Genovese crime family, who had a lot to do with illegal gambling and racketeering. It's now all open, it's all on the table, and it is all of interest. Now, like I said, unfortunately, there are no photos of Lori's father and mother that I could find, but it's a strong lead, and I'm going to leave it at that for YouTubers and other sleuths to take a look at. Pivoting back to Erica and Erica's timeline, because now all of the characters that we've introduced to you are in place. You understand kind of the story that we're telling here. I wanted to let you know that we did receive a flurry of emails about Erica's missing year. Also a lot of comments. And before we get there, I can tell you, we can confirm now that Erica did attend St. Ursula Villa up in Cincinnati, Ohio. Right. But she attended what we can document for kindergarten. So that was before she went down to Arizona. We have that photo for you guys here. This would be from 1994 to 1995. And you can see her, just for funsies, her name is spelled differently. It's with a C. Clerical. It's clerical error, another clerical error. They're all over. But I wanted to let you know, we thus far, no one with a yearbook at St. Ursula Villa has been able to confirm her for 2000 and from 2000 to 2002. So those years are still technically missing. I thought that was where she was for those years, but maybe we had it in reverse. We're going to keep building upon that. We also did receive confirmation from basketball players at St. Regis that we were correct. She did not play in the 2008 to 2009 season. Despite in the future, she's going to claim multiple times that she played at Regis for 2 years. She played basketball for 2 years. Well, I can show you this photo that we also gathered of Erica with her Regis University team members. This is taken in December of 2007, but she did not play. Regis University. Like I said, her stats are still up. We could not find her in a newspaper. And now we have team members that are confirming that she did not play for the 2008 season. So the mystery remains, where was Erica hiding afterward for 8 months? Many of you guys thought that she went to have a baby. You guys like, in my day, when someone went away for 8 months, it's because they...
I was like, sounds very familiar to, similar to, what was that? Never mind.
Knocked up and they had to go away. And I have seen no evidence of that. I'm just sharing that because it was a repeat comment. I'm just going to keep following the facts and following Erica's words and sentiments that are shared. And regarding that year, someone sent us another clip of her verifying our timeline. So we are accurate. She goes missing in 2008 to, quote unquote, study the Bible, to see she didn't learn the Bible, as we showed you last week. She didn't learn because she was Catholic and they didn't really study the Bible. Then she got this time with her pastor's wife to just really learn everything. And she says then that it was for 8 months. Well, take a listen to her explaining this again on a different podcast called Don't Ignore the Nudge. Take a listen.
Like with Miss Arizona, I was so done with that world. It was very toxic. I loved my director. I loved the experience I had, but afterwards, it was one of those things where I was so sold out and focused on Christ that I didn't want anything from that past or that world to follow with me into the new season that I was about to enter into. And so for me, it was all about I literally had locked myself in my room and read my Bible. And the only person I saw for 6 months was my pastor's wife. And I just had her pour into me. We would meet for lunch or coffee. And I didn't see any of my friends. I didn't do anything. I just was so focused on that.
Okay, you hear it again. This time she locked herself in her room. She's just focused on the Bible. Self-taught. I mean, how much of the Bible could you read if that was the only thing that you were doing for, she says, 6 months there, 8 months on a different podcast, but it's Erica, so we're not going to hold her to anything consistent. 6 to 8 months. How much of the Bible could you read? And like I said, she presented to it like that was her aha moment. She finally got to have this experience with the Bible. Because she learned it for real this time. Well, you might assume that she then became familiar with the Bible, but when it comes to Erica, you should never make an assumption, because now we're going to fast forward to her telling Sage Steele the story about how she got acquainted with the Bible, thanks to a Christian friend of hers, not in 2008, but in 2016. Take a listen.
The first time I ever read the Bible cover to cover was 2016, and it changed my life. It absolutely changed my life, and that's when I started. So it was me and another friend, and I put together the Bible reading program, and I sent it to my friend. I said, do it with me. I was like, because I don't know what I'm doing, and you've been a Christian your whole life, and I just want to have an accountability partner. Like, please read this with me. 2016, finished the whole thing. It was a wild year. Wow. And after that, everything was in Technicolor, and I was like, I get it now. I get it.
That gives me
And it made me, and it's really interesting, because then if ever I do go back to sit in the Catholic Mass, I'm like, now I get the Catholic side even more now after having read the Bible. So I wish that there was more, because even when you go to confirmation class and like all the thing, I just wish they would have, and some Catholic churches are great at this. Some Catholic high schools are great at this. Unfortunately, mine weren't as good from the standpoint of get your own Bible and let's crack it open. It was never really like that.
If you're in your 30s, this one's for you. Salon gels are so damaging, and regular nail polish chips after just a couple of days. I've finally found a real game changer. The best part is the removal. In 1 minute, it's gone. No acetone, no scraping, no damage. Just wipe and move on. It gives you the durability and shine of a gel, but with a clean formula and gentle removal. It cures instantly under LED and stays flawless for up to 12 days. And the routine...
Keep up with the clue that she dropped. Look.
I don't know. I don't know what's up. I don't know what's down. With Erica, it's just
all over the place.
You don't know what the story is. Like, you could say she didn't read it cover to cover in the first 8 months, but I would imagine she didn't need her friend and turned to a friend 8 years later and go, what am I doing? If she had 8 months to study the Bible with the pastor, I think a pastor would be better suited than a friend.
Girl, come on.
I just don't know what is real with Erica. She gives me the vibe of someone whose brain has been rerouted. Like the pathways in her brain have been rerouted from a time that she's a child. Like, she just had to lie so much that she doesn't even recognize that what she's doing is lying. Like, she just says something and it's like, this is what works in this room, exactly as Elizabeth Lane described it. This is what works in this room. This is who I have to be. Okay, I'm sitting with Sage and I'm trying.
It's almost like she always have to kind of like adjust her story just based off of like either the scenario that she's trying to create or the persona that she's trying to perceive. It has to be so damn exhausting, if you ask me. Like, it has to be exhausting. I thought they called it DID. But
explain what brought me back to the Catholic thing. Like, maybe I need to be Catholic this week, or, maybe I need Protestant next week. So I said it at that podcast that I did it because I didn't have an appreciation for Catholicism. But now I'm saying that studying the Bible made me have an appreciation for Catholicism, which I wasn't getting. It's so all over the place. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know, other than someone who was programmed and has had to tell so many different stories that she can't really pedal backwards. She just kind of keeps going and just keeps swimming and just keeps swimming. And what she's going to say tomorrow is not going to be what she said yesterday. It's too many lies. She is obviously not fit to be the CEO and chairman of Turning Point USA, just on the basis of the amount of dishonesty that we can just show you using her own words. Okay? Just using Erica's own words. Trying to make sense of anything is a very difficult task. Anyway, we are going to be back after a break. All right, you guys, do you owe back taxes? Maybe you have unfiled tax returns, or have you maybe filed every year but still keep owing somehow? Maybe you retired and suddenly got hit with a tax bill they didn't expect, or maybe you pulled money from your 401k or IRA early and now the IRS wants its share. However your tax issue started, the outcome is always the same. Your balance is not going down, penalties are growing, interest compounds, and many of you are about to owe again for this upcoming tax year with no plan in place. Stop what you're doing and call Tax Network USA with over 15 years in business.
I usually don't hear her commercials. I'm like, I have to put her on mute and let her ramble it out. I'm glad that she didn't learn how to pre-record them, because, just trying to listen to them. I'm like, okay, never mind. Mute. Mute, 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 mute. Oh man. We're coming up to the end. She ain't got a lot going on today. It's Monday. Ain't too much going on. I need to put more cream on. And it's Monday. I ain't even gonna hold you. Look at, oh my goodness. Do y'all see, I cannot believe they got him in this commercial. Matthew Cox. Oh, you ain't even here? Keep up. Do y'all see Matthew Cox in this commercial?
If your title, that's the legal record of your ownership, gets transferred out of your name, criminals can then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your property. And you won't even know about it until...
When did we talk home title law? People be trying to steal the title to
investigation call with the IRS. After that investigation, they can put a clear plan in place to resolve your tax problem and get you back on track. So do not wait for another IRS letter or a frozen bank account. Call 866-686-1651 or visit tnusa.com/Candace. Again, that's tnusa.com/Candace. I also want to tell you guys about Home Title Lock, because if you're a homeowner, you need to listen to this. The FBI has been warning homeowners about a type of real estate fraud that's on the rise, which is title theft. This type of theft does not happen.
Are you sure your tax expert is right for you? Switch to TurboTax Full Service. You'll be matched with a TurboTax expert and get real-time updates on their progress. And you get your best outcome guaranteed. Switch to TurboTax Full Service.
Caesar Milan, how to add years to your dog's life. Sardines.
9.
Bone broth.
10.
Raw eggs blended with the shells.
9.
Turmeric.
Happen by breaking down your door.
Go, Matthew, look. Look at Matthew. Oh my goodness. I wonder if he never mind.
And maybe stealing
Tell Matthew he in the commercial.
stuff. It happens with just a one-page document with a forged signature that gets filed at the county. So if your title, that's the legal record of your ownership, gets transferred out of your name, criminals can then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your property. And you won't even know about it until you start receiving collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I've partnered with Home Title Lock so that you can protect your equity and find out today if you're already a victim. Use my promo code Candace at HomeTitleLock.com and you'll get a free title history report and a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title records, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud occurs, their U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix it. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code Candace, or use the link in the description below. I also remind you guys about American financing because between groceries, travel, and higher prices, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially if you're already relying on credit cards to cover the basics. If that debt is piling up, you should know that you're not alone. If you're a homeowner, maybe considered reaching out to American Financing but hesitated because you didn't want to give up your low mortgage rate. Well, that's why American Financing created the Smart Equity Loan. It's a simple, smart way to get your finances back on track without giving up your low mortgage rate. Unlike a HELOC, which can fluctuate with the market, the Smart Equity Loan offers a fixed rate, so you'll have one predictable monthly payment. It lets you use your home's equity to pay off high interest debt, free up your cash flow, and still keep your existing mortgage intact. There are no upfront fees to find out if you qualify, so call 800-795-1210. Again, that's 800-795-1210. Or visit AmericanFinancing.net/Owens. Again, that's AmericanFinancing.net/Owens. What do you guys think? Do you think Erica was born into something? I have that general sense. I will say that. Do you think something happened to her in her childhood? Tesseract. Well, I'm going to give you tomorrow Tesseract's direct ties to Fort Huachuca.
No fucking way. No way. No way. Ain't no way.
Man, it's just I mean, I just had him everywhere right at the very beginning. I would very much bet that Erica knows what Fort Huachuca is. That just feels right to me. Anyway, that will be tomorrow. Top comments from Friday's episode. Brigitte, if you're reading this, you are still not off the hook.
Lord, I'm like, we was on Brigitte ass 6 months ago. We was on Brigitte ass 6 months ago. Do you hear me? I'm talking about, listen, choke hold. We had her in a fucking chokehold. Scared everybody. I'm talking about they pulling up all type of weird footages, random videos. You just see random videos. Look at Brigitte. Look how she walking. Look how she sat down. Look at them big ass hands. I'm talking about trending. 17.
Hilarious number one. Second comment is hiding in Ben Shapiro's eyebrows to watch this. These always make me laugh. Also, I remind you guys, if you want to support our show, you can head to CandaceOwens.com and you can buy merch available on the website. Easiest way to support us and support independent journalism that is not selling out to Israel or to anyone, not to the MAGA party, not to the neocons ever. I'm just very grateful to always have the opportunity to share what I believe and to stay loyal and to my fellow Goyim. I'm loyal to them. Anyway, comments from today's episode. Let me scroll down here, see what you guys are thinking. Nance the Rock writes, great work, Candace. Thank you. That was a very big tip. So thank you very much, Nance the Rock. Want to glorify God writes, sure, Erica, you never dated for 5 years in New York. You never, ever entered beauty pageants. You stayed at home for 8 months studying the Bible. You never checked Charlie's texts. You never knew Charlie was afraid for his life. Charlie had a neck of steel, dangerously pathological. Yeah, she's pathological. I would say that. I can't, there's no other explanation. I mean, unless she's telling the truth and Charlie didn't tell her. And maybe they all did know who he thought was going to kill her. The only way that would make sense is if Charlie thought Erica was going to kill him.
Ooh.
And didn't text Erica. I wouldn't text Erica. Erica's going to kill me. Otherwise, why is your husband not telling you he thinks he's going to die? Now you can make the argument like, oh, you want your wife not to be worried or stressed out about your impending assassination, which is likely coordinated by a foreign government. But I feel like maybe after you were assassinated and you had the phone and access to Dan Flood, who as I broke the story,
security.
He did not get fired from Turning Point USA. He had one job, he effed it up, but he did not get fired for some strange reason, which a grieving widow might do. I feel like Dan should have told you that. Andrew Colbert, the PR guy, should have told you that. You guys are coming up together on Charlie's day of Charlie's burial. You're plotting together to say, what should we tell the public? Oh, we'll say he had a steel neck like Superman. He didn't mention that to you? A little sidebar? Sorry to feel bad for Andrew Colbert. I feel bad that they've made him be the person that has to lie and he's kind of catching all these strays, but she's been the hand directing him. I now know that because of the firings. Erica has been directing the messaging from the very beginning. So she went straight from her husband being assassinated to assuming the chairman and CEO to Zoom calls and directing the PR messaging. Andrew's out here catching strays. I don't know why you do it, Andrew. I've got an idea, though. We're going to get to that. Maybe Erica's not the only person who was born into something, hey? Objectio writes, the biggest winners of the CK-EK investigation are the Macrones. It's been half a year, and Candace has barely mentioned Brigitte's dangling. Hey, I actually said today, oh, look, this person looks like Brigitte. So
she did.
A little joke there.
She did.
Sonia here for Truth writes, Candace, we are behind you. Keep going, Max. You, your family, and your team are always in my thoughts and prayers. The truth sets us free, and we are free to seek truth.
Brigitte.
Christ is King. Jesus is Lord of all.
He did look like
Agreed.
Brigitte.
And thank you for the support. Conjure Up writes, Urban Becks, the same ones committing fraud in Cincinnati, the home builder fraud, the bank folding fraud. I don't think you saw Friday's episode. You should go watch that. Yes. That's Erica's uncle, Rick. Now, she could be, to be clear, not suggesting that they are his actual uncle. She's got some family that she claims to be her family. You know, Nicole Rothstein, cousin. She's over there saying, this is my family's dedication. I don't know if this girl has a full-blown personality disorder where she just becomes the thing in every room. Or if she's just like, hey, we've been close, and people do that casually. We'll say, like, that's my uncle. Like, I would, if you've got a best friend and they have children, you say, oh, that's her aunt, that's her uncle. Sure. I don't know. I don't know what she means by that. And, we can shoot her a question after the show and ask for clarity of whether it's a funkle or a bloodline uncle. I think it's probably just what she calls him because they're close. Tammy Gauss writes, so with Erica's new timeline, how did she manage to read the Bible cover to cover? Oh, wait, I know. She read between all her dates with her sports boys, her Cabot, and dates during...
My daughter just accused me of getting Botox. My girlfriends think I've had a skin tightening treatment. The truth? No injections, no filters.
During her summer house era, I thought the same thing. I was like, well, 2016 was a bit of a wild year for Erica. You're telling me she also had time to read the Bible cover to cover? That's pretty hard. That's pretty hard to do if you actually had nothing to do, which is what she did for 8 months, where I personally feel like she was maybe training somewhere. Otherwise, why try to wipe that year by claiming that you played basketball for another year when you didn't? I don't know. I feel like she was doing some Christian training, perhaps. Again, it's my opinion. It's my podcast. I'll share my opinion. Misty writes, why are they still calling it the Charlie Kirk Show? It's time to retire the name in respect of Charlie's memory. How about the Turning Point Show? I think that wouldn't even do it justice. Turning Point makes people think that it's Charlie's legacy. It's not. They should rename the company. They should rename it Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom USA. And that would be a better representation of its new leadership, its new opinions, neocons, which Charlie could not stand. These people, he couldn't stand them at all. And there's no grieving widow on the face of the planet, a truly grieving widow who could bear to be around the enemies of your assassinated husband in that regard. So everything and every manner that she is moving registers to me as someone who is a pathological liar, and which we've proven already. We haven't even gotten into all the other lies. We haven't even gotten into her relationships. We haven't even taken you further through her backstory and how she was brought to Turning Point USA. There are so many more lies. But I think what we could agree on just this far in is the fact that we know nothing about Erica Kirk, and I don't think Erica knows anything about Erica Kirk. I think she was created, and I mean that genuinely. Anyway, reminding you again, if you would like to support the show, please head to CandaceOwens.com, buy some merch, sign up for a subscription, and join the book club. We have another meeting Friday. We just started a new book. I never remember book titles. The Secret Founding of America, The Real Story of Freemasons, Puritans, and the Battle for the New World. It's actually, as we've already learned, crypto Jews. DNA evidence has suggested that's already a very compelling read to learn true history, which is so important. If we have any shot in the future, we have to understand what happened in the past. I will leave it there, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow. Get up out of here as well. I think I gave myself a...
If we have any shot in the future, we have to understand what happened in the past. I will leave it there, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
I have to make this public. Here's the story. Baron
About on his live stream a very crazy situation that fell in my lap where someone who had gotten on our radar during the Charlie Kirk assassination had made some very bizarre posts, which led to a chain of events, which led to me having to interact with the top of the FBI.
Okay, well, hold on
anyway.
just a second. Hold on, let me see.
You know, Nick, I gotta ask you, you're no stranger to war. It feels like every day that passes, we are one step closer to a potential war in Iran.
Yeah.
You said America is due for a war.
Hello.
Do you think that this is it?
I don't think this is going to be the big one. I think the war that I'm referring to is like going to be internally. A war internally. The war with Iran, that's been preached about, talked about. We've been wanting that war since, I can remember. I know for sure when I was in, and then I want to go, let's say as far back as like the 90s, back when Benjamin Netanyahu was preaching about them having nuclear weapons or, weeks away, months away from having a nuclear weapon, atomic bomb and all this. This was like back in the 90s, and it's been a regurgitated speaking point when it comes to him and Iran and how we should get involved with Iran. I'm good on Iran. I'm good on sending U.S. troops anywhere. Like, what is Iran? Seriously, what have they done to us?
Please.
I don't know any Iranian who's come out. I don't know. They haven't done anything significant to us that would like warrant thousands of U.S. troops to go over there and get potentially killed. If somebody else has a problem with it, then I think they should deal with it.
Them dude handle their own business.
We always get drawn up and drawn back into these pointless, endless, stupid wars for no reason. And then wonder why we're like 36 trillion, whatever it is,
in debt.
Astronomical number that we are in debt.
Right. Right.
Well, according to Trump, I mean, they have the capabilities to make a nuclear bomb.
They've been had that since like the 90s. And like, didn't we just do that Top Gun, Tom Cruise mission over there to like set back their nuclear program? I forget how long it was. And here we are with the same talking point. Like, what was all that about? They've been weeks away, months away since like the 90s, and they ain't have one yet. So I'm starting to, sounds a lot like propaganda to me.
Nah, and it's interesting because you were talking about Benjamin Netanyahu. You can literally go back for 20 years and find clips of him saying that same talking point.
Yep.
Like literally.
Yep.
It's the craziest thing. Like you can find clips every year on the year.
Yep.
Of him with that same exact talking point for over 20 years.
That should scare us to even want to support or even acknowledge a potential war with Iran based on those little speaking points that's been going back for 20 plus years. That should be enough to warrant every bit of caution from every American, voting American, out there. But propaganda, it's another pointless, endless war that they want to, draw us into. It's like the war in Iraq, the weapons of mass destruction. And they had satellite photos and all this shit about it, and it turned out to be nothing, So I can only believe so much. Just because you show me a grainy image of something that looks like a rocket, I don't know what that rocket is. Could be a fucking Roman candle for all I know. I don't know what it is. AI now and all this shit, you don't know what to believe. The Bible warned us about times like this, though. You don't know what to believe.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But be it as it may, as we speak, Trump has over 250 aircrafts across the Middle East. It's the largest military buildup in the region since at least 2003. And half of the Navy is stationed outside of Iran.
It's wild.
So this ain't just words.
No. It's potential for war, yeah, but again, I think there has to be some type of congressional hearing, or gotta have the declaration from Congress to even.
The fact that he made this damn interview last week, this interview was last week, just goes to show. Stop. It just goes to show you, like, how spot on he be.
As a medical,
lot of time.
I've got sources in TPUSA. It's not pretty in there. I wondered if there weren't multiple patsies at the event and they weren't sure which one they were going to pin it on.
Look at Niecy with
One they
this-
were going to pin it on.
What's the most interesting info?
Oh, she sat down with Niecy and Baron had oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know.
That you have uncovered about Zachariah Qureshi.
I think his family's history is pretty wild. We were able to track down something absolutely massive that he was involved with. She still has this awkward affect when she is in public and grieving. It looks fake.
Do you think we'll ever know the truth?
I get that question a lot. Hey, Nissy, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the program.
So you and I have both been covering the Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk saga. And I wanted to speak to you because you've done a lot of research that I haven't done. So I wanted to catch up on some of the stuff that you've been covering. I did watch some of your podcasts last night, and you did uncover some really interesting things about various people. For example, Zachariah Qureshi, that's a name that has gone under the radar, and it actually, I think, deserves a second look.
I agree. This guy was suspicious on the day of, and we never got an adequate explanation from the state or feds of why he was dismissed as a person of interest. They just told us it was a mistake and to move on with our lives, and I'm dissatisfied with that.
Yeah, because one of the things that I saw that you'd covered was that there was the police radio saying that there was someone going from hospital to hospital, and they identified it as Zachariah Qureshi.
Continuing attempt to locate active shooter suspect. Tactical vest and a black mask, possibly carrying a rifle. Toyota Corolla S820 Bravo Lima. Suspect possible name Zachariah Qureshi, date of birth 5/12/2000. The male is going from hospital to hospital looking for the victim. Again, use 10-0. Notify is located in detail 1511.
That's what the radio chatter seems to suggest that. And if it was a mistake, just tell us that. Say, here's why we picked him up, and here's what we determined, and that's why we've cut him loose. But to just say it was a mistake and move on and not provide an explanation for that when they know that's a public record.
I'm gonna have to come back to this because I've already excuse me, because if I'm gonna be here tomorrow, remember we got to push through all the way to Thursday, and so we'll have to catch up with Niecy maybe tomorrow because we We'll see. But in the meantime, in between time, love you. I'll be having I know what to do. Calm down.